Welcome to the CISO Journal, your weekly intelligence briefing for modern security leaders. Today, we begin where every modern security conversation should begin. Not with firewalls, not with compliance, but with trust. More specifically, the end of trust as we knew it. In today's hyper-connected world, traditional boundaries are gone. People log in from coffee shops, airports, and mobile hotspots. Your employees work on personal devices, accessing critical cloud apps from unmanaged networks. The perimeter has dissolved, and identity has become the new firewall. So, how do we protect what matters when nothing is inherently trustworthy anymore? The answer is zero trust, and today we'll break it down.
Welcome to CISO Journal, your weekly signal in a noisy digital world. Every insight here is crafted for security leaders, risk takers, and resilience builders. Let's decode what matters and why it matters in cybersecurity. This is your time to stay sharp. Created, written, and produced by Burak Dündar. The series uses AI-powered narration and visuals to deliver concise, global threat intelligence. Every episode reflects strategic thinking, not synthetic noise.
Let's start at the beginning. What does zero trust really mean?
Zero trust is often misunderstood. Some think it's a product, others a buzzword. But at its core, zero trust is a philosophy, a strategic shift in how we approach digital security. The concept was formalized by Forrester Research in 2010. But its roots go deeper, back to military concepts of compartmentalization and need to know. It gained global attention when Google launched BeyondCorp, moving from VPN-based access to a context-aware, identity-first security model. The core principle is simple: never trust, always verify. In practice, this means no automatic trust based on network location, no broad access rights. Every access decision is based on identity, device, context, and behavior. Zero trust is not about paranoia, it's about designing for compromise. Because breaches are inevitable. But damage doesn't have to be.
But even the best architecture fails when identity is compromised. Let's explore the threat landscape.
Let's talk about the battlefield, identity. In 2025, identity is the #1 attack vector. Why? Because attackers have realized that it's easier to log in than to break in. Consider this: over 80% of breaches involve stolen or misused credentials. MFA can be bypassed via fatigue attacks, SIM swaps, or phishing proxies. AI-generated. Phishing is indistinguishable from legitimate internal comms. Let's break down the top threats. MFA prompt bombing. Fatigue the user into approval. Session. Hijacking. Steal a token or cookie, bypass login. Credential. Stuffing. Use leaked usernames and passwords en masse. Deepfake. Phishing. AI clones your CEO's voice, sends a Slack, gets your admin password. Real-world example. In the 2022 Uber breach, the attacker used basic social engineering to convince an employee to accept an MFA push. Once inside, lateral movement exposed credentials. And the attacker posted screenshots publicly. No malware, no zero-day. Just a weak moment and a strong user. This is the reality of modern identity attacks.
How do you build a zero-trust environment? Let's dive into the architecture behind the philosophy.
So how do you build zero trust? It's not a single product, it's a layered architecture. Core components: strong identity and access management, IAM. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. with risk context, device, compliance checks, only trusted devices allowed, conditional access policies, location, time, behavior, microsegmentation, isolate sensitive data and systems. ZTNA, replace VPN with identity-aware network access. Continuous verification. Access isn't granted once. It's reevaluated constantly. Least privilege. No more over-permissioned accounts. Every access is intentional. Integration. Tip. Tools like Microsoft, Entra ID, Okta, CrowdStrike Falcon, and Palo Alto. ZTNA 2.0 help enforce zero-trust models in live environments. Zero trust is not about locking down everything. It's about knowing who, why, when, and how for every access decision.
Tools aren't enough. Without governance, zero trust fails. Here's what CISOs need to manage.
Zero trust cannot succeed without governance. CISOs need visibility, accountability, and agility. Governance checklist. Access reviews. Frequent audits of who can access what. Privileged access management. PM. Rotation, monitoring, session recording, user behavior analytics, UEBA. Detect risk based on behavior deviation, SIEM integration, correlate identity events with threat data. Metrics that matter. Failed logins from unknown devices, MFA challenge responses, lateral movement attempts, dormant account activity. Zero trust isn't just a security model, it's a business enabler when properly governed.
Trust is a vulnerability, and assumptions are liabilities. If you haven't deployed conditional access for internal users, start this week. Begin with your admins, developers, and finance staff. Require device compliance. Block outdated browsers. Flag unusual login patterns. And most importantly, treat your trusted insiders the same way you treat unknown traffic. Because compromise comes from within.
Zero trust is not a destination, it's a discipline. It's not about eliminating all risk. It's about reducing blast radius, enabling recovery, and operating with clarity. For CISOs, zero trust means reshaping culture, architecture, and leadership. In our next episode, we shift focus to the cloud, SaaS applications, shared responsibility, and the hidden risks of convenience. Until then, stay resilient, stay alert. And remember, in security, trust is earned, never assumed.
That's all for this week's CISO Journal. Thank you for watching and for making time to think critically in a world of automated chaos. Every insight we share is for those who lead with clarity, security professionals, risk takers, and builders of digital resilience. We don't do noise. We decode what matters and why it matters. This series is created, written, and produced by Barak Dundar. Narration and visuals are powered by AI, but every thought you hear is intentionally human. Subscribe, share, and join us next time, right here on CISO Journal.